capable of producing a tornado near Fruitdale that's working its way to the north and east at about 35 miles per hour. We're going to continue to monitor this as we go through the course of the morning and follow not just this particular storm, but the entire line that's going to be marching its way southward as we push forward throughout the course of the day today. Now, as far as the warning, it only includes this section of Washington County. It does not include Chatham. The storm is just south of Chatham, but you can see that this polygon, that is where the actual storm is located. We'll bring that up on radar, but this will include a section of Mississippi Highway 17. It will include a section of US 43, and it is moving to the north and east at 35 miles per hour. And this is the first warning we've had in about an hour. And hopefully, as the morning goes on, we won't see too many more of these. This is a look at the radar, and you can see that line producing massive amounts of lightning. Heavy rain gradually marching its way to the south and east. This is all showing up ahead of a cold front that's going to bring the temperatures down for the second half of the day today. But as we zoom in tighter, you can see that we're starting to get a bit of a couplet on that thing. We're starting to get a sign of rotation with that storm. There's a hook located right there near Fruitdale, and that's the reason why the warning was issued. You can see at the end of this loop, you have an inflow notch on this particular storm. The inflow notch is right here, and your possible tornado would be just to the south and west of that inflow. So right there over Fruitdale, you need to be in your safe place. Where is that? That is the lowest level of your home. That's away from doors. That's away from windows, preferably a first floor bathroom or a hall closet. Not only is this storm going to be impacting you with a possible tornado, but you also have straight line winds that are going to be a major factor with this storm. And it's going to continue working its way to the east at 35 miles per hour. And it does include this section of Washington County along State Highway 17 south of Chatham. But Fruitdale is the biggest populated spot that's in this warning polygon. So you need to make sure that you're taking that threat seriously. Wager and McIntosh are in the polygon as well, so you all have much more time to get to your safe place. Fruitdale, you hardly have any time at all. You need to be getting in there now. Hopefully all your devices have gone off to alert you for a tornado warning that's in the area. But with a signature like that, with that little curve on the radar, when you get that hook like that, that's a strong indication that there is a tornado that is possibly in the region. We'll pull up what's known as the velocity, the inbound and outbound wind flow, so we can find where the tight couplet is located within this storm. And you can see right now that that is showing up right there near Fruitdale. That's where you have the reds and the greens. The red is wind blowing away from the radar. Green is wind blowing to the radar. When you see the two interlocked, that's a strong sign of rotation. So your possible tornado would be right here along parts of US 45, right around Fruitdale, and that's just to the north of 4 Points Road. And it's going to be marching east very quickly since it's moving at 35 miles per hour. Where you see it on the radar may not necessarily be where it is, because when we get the next sweep scan, likely it will be at that point to the east of US 45. So it's going to be moving at a much more rapid pace. You want to make sure you're taking all of that into consideration. But we have a possible tornado that's located right over the community of Fruitdale. That's located right near Vinegar Bend Road and is marching its way eastward at roughly 35 miles per hour. Everyone in Fruitdale needs to be in their safe place, away from doors and away from windows. Remember, this does not include Chatham. This storm is south of Chatham, and it's not tracking to the north. It's tracking straight to the east. So everyone east of Fruitdale needs to make sure they're in their safe place. And as I've mentioned already, hopefully a lot of you got woken up by either your weather radio or your smartphone that there was a tornado warning in the region. We'll look at some of the other products with the velocity display. This is again what shows you the inbound and outbound wind flow. And let's take a little peek at this. And yeah, you can see that the velocity couplet's pretty tight with this particular storm. And now it looks like it would be right over County Road 1, which is just to the east of US 45. That's where the possible tornado is on the ground. Weather Service just said the tornado likely just crossed US 45 and is marching its way toward Tibby. That is the big issue right now, because we have some of the communities that are on the radar right now. Hawthorne, Seaboard, Uniform. You need to all be in your safe place. But this possible tornado is just to the east of US 45, just to the east of County Road 1, right there where you see these bright shades of pink That is where the tornado is likely at this point. So it's between County Road 1 and just north of 4 Points Road and near County Road 20. And it's continuing to move quickly. So make sure, again, that anyone that's in the community of Tibby is in their safe place, lowest level of the home, away from doors and away from windows. It looks like the tornadic part of the storm is now out of Fruitdale, and hopefully all of you in Fruitdale are safe and okay, because I know that warning came very, very fast. We still have a watch for all of our inland counties until 6 a.m. That's Washington, Clark, Monroe, Conecuh. Those of you along the I-10 counties, Mobile, Baldwin, you're not in a tornado watch, but the possibility of tornadoes still looms as we head in toward the course of the morning. So that is the possible tornado that's on the ground as of right now. We're continuing to watch this. If you're just joining us, I'm meteorologist Michael White in the Fox 10 Storm Tracker Center, watching a nasty cell on radar that's producing a possible tornado. You can see this has a classic hook echo shape. Now, those of you up around Chatham, you're getting a very nasty thunderstorm that's producing tremendous amounts of lightning, gusty winds. Same thing for those of you in Yarbo, but you're just not in the tornadic part of the storm. You're just north of that, but that doesn't mean that you don't have any active weather going on. The weather in your area is nasty, and the only reason you don't see the lightning is because I turned it off, because there's so much of it, it's basically covering up the radar imagery. But it is a nasty thunderstorm rolling over Chatham ahead of this cold front, but this is the section that's producing the possible tornado, right around Fruitdale and Tibby, because whenever you see storm structure take on what's known as a hook echo, where it has this sort of reverse comma shape where it looks like a C, that is a good indicator that there's a tornado in the region, because the C is where you have your inflow notch, and then just south of that is the possible tornadic part of the storm. And that part has crossed US 45 and is continuing to march east towards State Highway 17. Tibby needs to be in their safe place. Make sure that you are, let's see, I'm reading a note from the Weather Service that says continuing upgrading to considerable tags, seeing a tornado debris signature in excess of 8,000 feet. Likely a strong tornado around Tibby, Alabama. Let's pull that up. The debris signature is what on radar can show you if debris is being lofted. Let's go to that right now. There's the velocity product. Let's change this and switch on the correlation coefficient. And yeah, that's fairly significant. Yeah, potential debris would be right there in that spot north of 4 Points, Road. It would be located. Let me circle this on the radar with one of our tools here, so you can get a glimpse of it. It would be right here. That we would be of most concern. That would be the possible debris signature. That would be debris that's being lofted up by the radar beam. So that is another indication that there could be a tornado on the ground. Everyone needs to be in their safe place right now. Fruitdale, it's already past you. Tibby, it's over you right now. You need to make sure you are in your safe place, because if that verifies and that's an actual tornado, it's already too late. Now that's going to continue marching its way to the east. So that means anyone near the community of Uniform, anyone near County Road 20 at State Highway 17 has got to be in shelter right now. This warning is going to go until 3:15. Now, the one positive note is that the threat for tornadoes will diminish the later into the morning we go. The air is typically more stable at dawn, but if you've stepped outside already this morning, it feels like an August day. It feels like a summer day, and that is like pouring gasoline on a fire. And that makes it very easy for active weather to get going, and especially for the chance of tornadoes and gusty straight-line winds, and that's what we've got this morning with this particular storm. What you're looking at again is a possible debris signature on radar. This product's known as the correlation coefficient. It can show debris being lofted up by the radar beam, and that's another tool that we use to spot where these things are, and that's a very strong indication, and the Weather Service chat is verifying that. We're in communication with them right now while we're on the air with you, monitoring this situation. So this storm is going to keep marching east toward State Highway 17. We're going to wait for the next sweep scan to come through, and we're just going to stay on the air with you during all of this and continue to monitor these storms as they blow their way through, because the entire line is going to be tracking to the south very slowly. We'll pull back and show you the entire watch warning map. You can see yellow is the tornado watch. Now, that only includes Greene, Washington, Clark, Monroe, and Conecuh counties until 6 a.m. It does not include Mobile and Baldwin. It doesn't include Escambia, George County or the Florida Panhandle, but there are still going to be strong storms that will show up as this main line marches its way to the south. Look at all the lightning over Chatham. Goodness gracious. That is a vicious thunderstorm that is working its way through Washington County. I'm sure everyone in Washington County watching right now is wide awake from these storms that are blowing their way through, because this is just a nasty situation that we're having to continue to monitor on the air with you in real time. So as we continue to watch this and monitor it, I'm looking at more information from the Weather Service chat site to see what they're discussing with this storm. So far, no new updates other than the fact that that debris signature, actually, I take that back. They just popped in a new update that said considerable hail up to 1 inch in diameter from this storm. A confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado was located when the warning was first issued over Fruitdale, and it's moving east at now 50 miles an hour. So it's now moving even faster than it was originally. Where you see that shade of pink near Chatham, that's likely where your 1 inch hail is showing up. The Weather Service is also saying that a confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado is over Tibby, 7 miles south of Chatham, moving east at 40 miles per hour. So the hail is rolling over Chatham right now. Where you see the shade of pink on the radar, that is where your hail is. And that hail is showing up over 1 inch in diameter. The lightning, as you saw a second ago, is very frightening because we're dealing with a powerful storm, a loud storm. But the tornadic part of the storm is to the south of Chatham. It's from this sliver of the storm is where the tornado is. It has already passed through Fruitdale. So Fruitdale, you are now out of the tornado warning. The tornado is past you, but it is over Tibby, and it's about to cross Alabama Highway 17. If anyone lives on State Highway 17 south of Chatham, you have maybe 5 minutes to get to your safe place. And if you know anyone that lives there, you got to call them and wake them up now. And then that's going to continue marching its way through this rural section of southern Washington County. And if it holds together, it will cross US 43 just to the north of McIntosh. And it would be just south of Jackson over in Clark County. Weather Service just said a significant tornado remains on the ground approaching State Highway 17 near Tibby. That's what we just mentioned. So the Weather Service is saying that as well. The hail core is hitting Chatham extremely hard. Where you see this shade of pink, that is a nasty thunderstorm. And the only reason you're not seeing the lightning is because I turned it off, because there's so much of it. It's covering up the radar imagery. But it is a loud, powerful thunderstorm that's in Washington County right now. And this sliver that's approaching Alabama 17, that is the possible tornado that is on the ground. So this is a dangerous situation, according to the Weather Service office, and everyone needs to take this threat seriously and make sure you're following all of the precautions by having your severe weather safety plan ready to go and knowing where to go. As we go back and check the velocity display, this is that inbound and outbound wind flow. The tornado would be right over Uniform, which is right around County Road 20 and Hawthorne Road. That would be your tornado right there. Where you see this shade of white. That would be it. That's the inbound and outbound wind connected, and that is a vicious looking couplet, and that is a nasty looking possible tornado. We've already seen debris signatures from this. It looks like it'll be just to the north of Seaboard, but it's crossing State Highway 17 at Hawthorne Road and County Road 20, and it's going to keep pushing its way to the east at 40 miles per hour is what the Weather Service has said. So it's a fast-moving storm. So once you're in your safe place and the storm's over you, it's not going to be a long-lasting tornado threat, but it's big enough that it could cause a significant amount of damage. The wind with this looks like it would be massive as it keeps marching its way eastward with the latest sweep. We just got a new sweep scan, and you can see the possible tornado is still in that same spot. State Highway 17, just to the north of Hawthorne Road and north of County Road 20. We'll pull back up the debris signature. Take another look at that. Let's see. Let's go back to that. Here we go. So, yeah, if this is right, the debris signature, let me circle it, would be right there. That would be the debris signature. That bright shade of light green. So that is where your tornado is at this point, or it would be just to the east of that point. But this is Alabama 17. Here's Uniform. This is Hawthorne Road. This is County Road 20. There's your tornado, and that's going to keep moving to the east at 40 miles per hour. Everyone in southern Washington County needs to be in shelter. Remember, this is the only part of the storm that's producing a tornado. I know there's other parts of the storm that are still wreaking havoc with tons of rain, lots of lightning, and lots of wind. There just isn't a tornado threat in those other regions. I'm going to go back and show you the entire storm on radar, and just look for yourself. Milry, Yarbo, Chatham, just a nasty looking cell is marching its way to the east. And Chatham, you're getting pounded with 1-inch hail right now. Hopefully your vehicles are in a garage or carport, because that is horrific. The lightning is so significant that I know the thunder has probably woken all of you up. But this section where you see the red here, that is where the tornado is located. Everything to the north of that is not tornadic, but it's still nasty. It's producing a lot of hail, a lot of straight line wind, and a lot of lightning and thunder as this whole cell keeps marching its way to the east. And this is all a part of a line of storms that's slowly going to sink its way southward ahead of a cold front. So as we continue to monitor this, we're optimistic that the tornado threat will weaken the closer we get to sunrise, which will be just after 6:30 this morning. And the entire severe threat for everybody, including those of you along the coast, will be over by about 8, 9 o'clock this morning. So this isn't something that will last all day, but it is going to last through the pre-dawn periods and even through Good Day Gulf Coast, which begins at 4:30 this morning. So we're going to continue to stay with this. This warning, this tornado warning, is active till 3:15. Of course, if the storm holds together and rolls into Clark County possibly, the warning would be extended, and we would see, or maybe even expanded. Weather Service is continuing the tornado warning for now till 3:15. The storm is continuing to move east at 40, according to the Weather Service. A confirmed large and dangerous tornado is located over Tibby, 6 miles south of Chatham. So the Weather Service is basically just keeping the warning active, and you can see it flashing right there, and that's in play till 3:15. Wager is still in that tornado warning polygon. Chatham, you are not. McIntosh is not. Jackson over in Clark County is not. But that doesn't mean your weather is picture perfect. You're still dealing with a vicious thunderstorm in those other communities. You're just not dealing with the tornadic part of the storm. That is located where you see that red polygon box that's flashing, and that's what's going to be marching its way closer toward US 43, just north of McIntosh. The storm that was over Fruitdale and Tibby is moving very quickly this morning. We'll go back and take a look at the velocity display, and there's your possible tornado couplet right there. We'll look at the last few frames on this. And let me change this over to 30 minutes. Let's change this to 30 minutes. So you can see as I put this into motion, you can see kind of how this tornado is moving. Follow the shade of white. That's where the possible tornado is located, and you can see its movement. It's sort of just veering its way to the east. So places like Sunflower, Wager, all need to be in shelter, need to be in that lowest level of your home away from doors and windows as we follow this tornado that started in Fruitdale, marched its way over Tibby, and is now located just north of Hawthorne Road, north of Seaboard in southern Washington County, and it's moving its way to the east at 40 miles per hour. The tornado is right there in that shade of white, and it's going to continue to march its way to the east toward this section of US 43. And we're just going to stay on the air with this storm until it weakens or the tornado warning is completely dropped. But for now, that system seems to be holding together. So that means if you're in Sunflower or Wager, you still have time to get in shelter. If you know anyone that lives there, you still have time to wake them up, give them a call, make sure they get into their safe place, because if you've been watching our severe weather coverage so far, you've noticed that this is not a storm to play around with. It is a significant storm producing significant wind, and you got to take the threat absolutely seriously. We're going to pull back up the debris signature, and that would be it right there. Let me circle it again. And it would be right there near uniform. That big blob of green, that is debris that's being lofted up from the radar. So that is a huge indication that there is a tornado that is on the ground that is causing damage. We just got a new sweep scan, and this is right near the community of Uniform, and that is hugging Hawthorne Road. So this is State Highway 17. This is Hawthorne Road. That's the debris coming off the radar from the tornado. So that thing's going to continue marching its way east at 40 miles an hour. That means anyone out ahead of it has got to be in shelter right now. And you got to continue to take this threat seriously because we have not seen that debris signature weaken. We haven't seen it drop off. We haven't seen the storm lose any intensity. And as mentioned, all you have to do is walk outside this morning and you can feel every bit of that muggy air. And that muggy air is the culprit for this because that is the fuel for these thunderstorms. It is like pouring gas on a fire. It causes things to just accelerate. We will get cooler, drier air later today, but that's not going to be until after the cold front moves through, which is behind all of these thunderstorms. So probably by about 6 o'clock this morning, if you're in Washington County, that's when you'll start to feel the difference. Those of you at the beaches, you probably won't feel the difference in the air mass until 8 or 9 o'clock today. But that is a dangerous looking situation as we're getting ready to approach 3 o'clock this morning. Now, the tornado warning is active for 20 more minutes, but they will extend it if it looks like the storm is holding itself together. And this is going to be a situation we're going to have to monitor all morning. We just got a new sweep scan, and the possible tornado is now still just to the northeast of Hawthorne Road, right near Uniform. The community of Hawthorne is to the east of that. And that is just a really bad situation that we're having to continue to monitor this morning. The possible tornado signature is right there. It is held together in a very powerful way. These are, if you're watching us in Mobile or Baldwin County, and you're wondering, hey, is this going to impact us later this morning? There is the possibility of tornadoes showing up in those counties later today as the line drops to the south. The odds are lower simply because the tornado threat is going to weaken as the morning goes on. But if you don't get a tornado threat in Mobile or Baldwin County, you could certainly get straight-line winds, definitely heavy rain and lightning. So all the storms are eventually going to sink their way to the south. But as of now, that is a possible tornado that's moving east at 40 miles an hour. The community of Hawthorne needs to be in shelter as of right now. We're continuing to wait for more updates from the Weather Service. We're in communication with them, and we will stay in contact with them all morning long as we continue to follow all of these storms in real time. And some breaking news, the Weather Service has just extended the tornado watch. Let me pull this up. That now includes Mobile and Baldwin County. So the tornado watch is still in play till 6 a.m., but now George County has been added, Escambia County, Alabama has been added, and now Mobile and Baldwin County has been added. So a tornado watch for the next 3 hours until 6 a.m. So the time of the watch has not changed. It's still set to expire at 6, but it now includes Mobile and Baldwin County. It now includes George County, Mississippi. It now includes Escambia County, Alabama. So that means everyone, even down in the metro counties, has to get ready because what we're seeing in Washington County, what we've seen around Fruitdale and Tibby, could certainly be impacting you later on this morning. And this would be happening right before sunrise. It would be happening during our Good Day Gulf Coast program. And that's what we're going to have to just continue to watch and follow as we go through the rest of this morning. So the watch has now been expanded to include those other counties, according to the Weather Service. Let me go back and make sure I haven't missed this. But they are keeping it, as of now, they are keeping it at 6 a.m. 6 a.m. is still the cutoff time, but it does include those additional counties. The Weather Service said they are still going to keep the tornado warning active until 3:15. The storm is now moving east at 35 miles an hour, so it has decelerated a bit. There's your tornado warning. That does include Sunflower and Hawthorne and includes this sliver of US 43. It does not include Chatham, although Chatham, you've been getting hit hard with hail and tons of lightning. Let's see. The Weather Service just said the tornado remains on the ground. The velocity signatures, that's that in and outbound wind that we look at. According to them, it appears to be weakening. However, it could re-intensify at any minute. So that means they are keeping the tornado warning active because even though it looks like it's weakening, it might re-intensify. So that's the reason the warning is going to be active. Basically, you have two warnings here. The red polygon is the tornado warning. The yellow polygon is a severe thunderstorm warning. That means that although there's no tornado in that area, there is still a dangerous thunderstorm producing straight-line winds, hail, tremendous amounts of lightning. That did include Chatham, and it does include Jackson in parts of Clark County. So you've still got to be ready for that. Even though there may not be a tornadic storm headed your way, there is still a dangerous thunderstorm that's moving east at 35 miles per hour. We'll go back and take a look at some of those velocity signatures that the Weather Service was talking about. They did notice, they said, a bit of a weakening with those, but they do think there's a chance that they could see that re-intensify. So the debris signature definitely looks like it's weakening a bit, and that's good news. Let's go back and pull up the actual inbound and outbound wind flow. Yeah, that's definitely weaker than it was. Let's go back in time. All right, see right here where it's really bright? Let me point to that on the radar imagery with my pointer here. Right here, you see that? Where I've got the arrow? That is where the tornado was at 2:44 in the morning, crossing Tibby and crossing State Highway 17, and then watch the shade of white kind of weaken as it moves toward US 43. That's what the Weather Service is talking about, that the velocities are weakening. But they're still concerned about it re-intensifying. So that's the reason for now that it is the warning is remaining active. While it is weakening, we'll show you the bigger picture here. So here are the storms in real time. You can see where the tornado warnings are. Of course, you got the one in Washington County. You got a couple in Mississippi, one of which is south of Hattiesburg. You got one in central Alabama that's located just west of Montgomery. And of course, you've got a lot of lightning with these storms. The lightning is ferocious. So I'm sure the thunder from that has woken all of you up, especially in Washington and Clark County this morning. You look down toward I-10, there's nothing there. It is quiet, but if you're watching us in those communities and you walk outside, you are going to feel every bit of that muggy air, and you're going to be able to tell that there's a severe weather threat looming. These storms are in advance of a cold front. The cold front is between Jackson, Mississippi and Hattiesburg, and once you're on the back edge of these storms, your air mass is going to feel remarkably better. The humidity is going to drop, the temperatures will drop. In fact, afternoon temperatures today are likely to be in the upper 50s. And as of right now, you got temperatures that are in the 70s. So that is a big change. Let's go through the Fox 10 Futurecast so you can get a look at the timing of when these storms will impact your individual communities. This is a good opportunity to do that. So let me pull that up on the Futurecast and let's go through this in real time. So by about 6 in the morning is when it would be right over the Mobile Metro. It would be right over the Eastern Shore. It would be over Atmore, Dauphin Island. 7 in the morning, it would be over Pensacola. And by 8 in the morning, it would be pretty much over Destin, Crestview, Orange Beach, Gulf Shores. And by 9, everyone's dry. And notice the sky clears to the west of that. So not only do we see the storms end, the sunshine will come back out, and things are going to be feeling remarkably better. I do want to pull up a second model run because these storms are a little farther south than what this model is indicating. Let's go with this. This is what's known as the graph model. So it's got the storms rolling into Mobile at 5 a.m. and rolling into Atmore at 5 a.m. And then you would see it at 6 a.m. approaching Pensacola, 7 a.m. approaching Pensacola and Gulf Shores, 8 o'clock. You can see the storms would be over west of I-65. 9 o'clock, they would be over for everybody. So that is what we're going to have to be continuing to watch. The tornado warning continues, according to the Weather Service, until 3:15. So they're still keeping it active for the next 15 minutes, but it is slowing down. It's now moving east at 30 miles per hour. We'll pull that back up on the radar so you can get a look at that. And you can see the red polygon is where the possible tornado is located, and that is crossing US 43, the southern portion of the county, and that is going to be impacting the community of Hawthorne, assuming it re-intensifies. It has gotten weaker. Sunflower would also be impacted by this, and we'll just continue to follow it and stay with it in real time until this warning lapses. Which it will be in the next 15 minutes. As far as any additional warnings, the closest tornado warning besides the one in Washington County is south of Hattiesburg. If we do not get any more tornado warnings, what we have to watch out for is straight line winds, because in this line of storms, even if there are no tornado signatures inside the rest of these storms, you have tremendous amounts of lightning, you have very heavy bands of rain, and you would have very high wind. They just wouldn't be rotating wind, but they would be wind rolling in one direction. That in itself would cause a major problem, and all of that is sinking its way to the south. So Greene County, Leakesville, you need to be ready for that. Loosedale, you'll have to be ready for that. North Mobile County will take a little longer to get to you, but but it is on its way. And that's why we're going to stay on the air, and we're going to be following this throughout the morning. And of course, that's going to be the big story during Good Day Gulf Coast, is following all of these thunderstorms and the severe weather outbreak in real time. Jason warned you about it last night. We're continuing to monitor it this morning with these storms as they continue marching to the east at roughly 30 miles per hour. They've decelerated slightly, but nevertheless, they're still wreaking some havoc. The Weather Service for now says that the tornado is continuing to weaken. The supercell still looks impressive and may cycle again as it moves east towards southern Clark County. However, for now, they are not going to extend the tornado warning. What they're going to do is issue a severe thunderstorm warning, likely for for the other sections of southern Clark County. So where you see the gold color, that is the severe thunderstorm warning box. You are likely about to see this get extended into Choctaw Bluff and the rest of southern Clark County. You might also see that extend into parts of Monroe County. That'll be coming up within the next 5 to 10 minutes. But for now, they're going to let the tornado warning lapse at 3:15, and they're going to extend the severe thunderstorm warning. Now, if the storm goes tornadic again, if a new tornado warning gets issued, we'll immediately come back on the air. And of course, starting at 4:30 this morning, that's when Good Day Gulf Coast starts, and that's when we're just going to be going all in with severe weather coverage as these storms continue to sink to the south, and they will be impacting some of our highest populated counties while we're on the air. So this is going to be a big story this morning, and something you're going to need to take seriously, because you will not need to do any travel through this squall line. Even if there are no warnings in your region, you are not going to want to try to drive through any of this to get to work or to get to school. What you're going to want to do is wait until these storms have already passed south of your area. That's when it will be safe to travel. Or you can travel now and try to beat it. So for example, if you're in Lucedale or Bay Minette or Mobile and you need to go somewhere, you'll need to make sure you go ahead of time. There's your severe thunderstorm warning. It's just popped in where you see the gold color flashing. That is the new severe thunderstorm warning, and it's for this entire line of storms that's marching its way to the severe thunderstorm warning will be in play till 4 a.m. Winds are at 60 miles per hour, according to the Weather Service office. But this entire line is marching its way to the south and to the east, and a severe thunderstorm warning has been issued ahead of it. The tornado warning in Washington County is going to be allowed to lapse and expire, but we are going to have to continue to follow this. Now, when we go off the air, you'll still be able to follow the storms on the crawl that's running at the bottom of your screen. If a new tornado warning is issued, we will come right back on the air, and if there isn't, then we'll be back on starting at 4:30 when Good Day Gulf Coast starts, and that's going to be the main thing that we cover today with myself, meteorologist Jennifer Lambers, Eric and Sarah will all be watching these storms as they sink their way southward, because they are headed toward Mobile and Baldwin County. And remember, if you're in those counties, you are now under a tornado watch. You were not last night, but the Weather Service has just expanded it to include those two counties. Here's the full watch warning map where you see the shade of yellow. That is the tornado watch. That does include Mobile, Baldwin, George County, Escambia County, Alabama, and all of our inland counties. And the watch ends at 6 a.m. The gold color is your severe thunderstorm warning that was just issued. That goes until 4 o'clock this morning, and that is because of that entire line of storms that's sinking to the south and east. And that little shade of red, that is the tornado warning from what's left of that tornado that rolled through Fruitdale and through Tibby, and that's going to be dropping off within the next 6 to 7 minutes. The storms are going to pack a punch when they show up in your area. Make sure that you are not driving when that squall line is in your area. Take that threat seriously, because based on the estimates on the Futurecast, for example, Mobile, Eastern Shore, it's going to be to you in less than 2 hours. So by 5 a.m., it's going to be knocking on your doorstep, and you're going to want to continue to monitor these storms as we go through the course of the morning, because even just the lightning with these things are ferocious as they're sinking their way to the south and to the east, and the straight line winds in excess of 60 miles an hour. Those are tropical storm force winds that are showing up within these storms. The Weather Service just said they are going to be dropping the tornado warning at 3:15. The storm is moving to the east at 30 miles per hour, and there is still the possibility of hail within those storms, and there's still the possibility of hail within this entire line of storms. The Weather Service just said they're going to downgrade the warning to radar indicated as the tornado has lifted, and we're going to let the warning expire. The tornado threat continues across the area, but appears to have ended with this particular storm. So this storm that rolled through Chatham, that rolled through Fruitdale, Tibby, the one that produced the tornado, it appears to be not showing tornadic characteristics anymore. That's good news. But you still have an entire line of storms that is producing severe thunderstorm warnings, and that means the winds may not be rotating, but they're going in a straight line, and those are tropical storm force winds of 60 miles per hour, and you don't want to be driving through that. You've got heavy rain, you've got intense lightning. Of course, that's producing a lot of loud thunder. So what we will do is we will go back to programming, and when we come back on the air, it will be because a new tornado warning has fired off from the Weather Service, or because it's 4:30, and 4:30 is when Good Day Gulf Coast begins. Keep in mind that that will end at 8 o'clock today because of more World Cup coverage on Fox. We're optimistic that by 8 o'clock, when Good Day Gulf Coast is over, the severe weather threat for our area will have already ended. But if it hasn't, we're still just going to stay on the air and continue to track the storms as they roll through the Gulf Coast region. But by that point, they should only be impacting the beaches. It'll be definitely far south of where they are right now. So as we come up on 3:10 in the morning, I'm meteorologist Michael White in the Fox 10 Storm Tracker Center. Have a wonderful rest of your morning. Stay safe, stay weather alert, have the Fox 10 weather app ready to go, and we'll come back on the air as needed. If there are no more warnings,